that's, this is ongoing professional development for our coaches, for instructional coaches. And that's from Title I and Medicaid. And Pam Dice, our nurse practitioner, she is, this is a conference where she goes, and actually this was part of her contract when she was hired in, that she would be able to attend the conference each year. And this is to keep her license and also to get training on Medicaid. And the last one, now I'm not, this is for someone to be trained in our HVAC controls, and Joe might have some information on that.
Was it the
Greg Gosney.
Greg Gosney.
Greg Gosney? We have a control system that controls the heating and cooling at the high school, West Hamlin Elementary, and the two buildings that comprise Hamlin Community School. It's called Andover Controls. It's all computerized, automated. We have nobody in the school system that knows how to operate that. We have to rely on Mason & Berry, a private contractor. When there's a problem, and I have to call them and say, did you look at room so-and-so, it's not cooling, then we get billed at whatever rate they bill us for a phone call on how to operate a system that we own. So the thought was, send Greg Gosney, who is very well versed in computers, to the school to learn how to operate this, so we can cut out the cost of calling Mason Berry all the time. And then I'll be working more closely with Greg. He operates the high school now for us. And, you know, if I have a problem with one of the other schools, I've got somebody to turn to. If it's something more than what I know to do on that system. So that's, is that at Northwestern? Or is it in Massachusetts?
It's in
Northeastern.
It's in Andover, Massachusetts. Now, my question on that is, this was is it two full weeks of training? It was 10 days.
I would imagine it probably is. There's a computer class that you have to complete or test out of before they'll even teach you to handle the controls. And I think that he will be able to test out the computer class, is what the thinking is, or maybe already has. And then he'll be able to take the 2 weeks of classes. And that may be something that we can farm out through resources, some technical support to some of the other schools in the area that maybe employ Andover Controls, help them cut their bills down too.
Would he be able to train other people?
His
Same way
intent
he's
is
trained?
when he gets back with that training, he's going to set up a training course over here for myself, Dana Smith, and Paul Smith, who is our HVAC person in maintenance, and train the 3 of us on it to a limited degree. Obviously, we won't be as well versed as he is, but you know, there's some things that we need to know to be able to operate the system.
As it is now, am I correct that the company, when we call them, they operate and repair the problem from their main office?
Yeah, they can log in, their office is in St. Albans. And now, there's some things that we can do. I know how to go into the system and set up set points for the rooms and schedules for the system to operate. If they're too hot, I know how to go in and shut a hot water valve off so that they get cool air instead of hot air through the system. Some of those things we know how to do, but then there's some more in-depth stuff. Just like right now, the problem with the boilers at Hamlin is a computer problem because it's either off or it's on full blast. But right now we've got it disabled off, but we'll have to turn it on in the morning for that building to heat up. The problem is if we don't disable it back off, it runs full blast and that boiler runs continuously. We're using all that gas. And that's a computer issue in the programming. It should kick off automatically when it achieves a certain temperature inside the boiler. And those are the type of things Greg will be able to do for us instead of us having to call Mason & Berry and then either fix it on the computer and send us a bill or sending somebody down here to actually look at it and use the computer.
Does Mason and Berry do any other type of work for our school system?
Yeah, they're a heating and cooling contractor. They do work at several schools. We're exploring some other people now also, just simply because the bills have gotten pretty.
Well, that's what I was
Pretty
getting to,
high.
because I've looked through our bills that we've been paying, and we've been paying that company quite considerably.
And Dana has noticed that, and that's why he's starting to use some other companies, Simco and York, to come in and do the same work. And then but the problem is on those particular schools where we have the Andover controls, it's like Simco has nobody trained themselves on Andover controls. They're Johnson controls. It's two different things. So if we have somebody here in our system that can service the Andover controls, then we can maybe use some of these other people at lower rates and do the computer part of it ourselves.
That sounds great.
I have a question. Okay, Howard. Just looking through the calendar, what is the difference between a CD day, which is curriculum development, and a continuing professional development, which is CE on the calendar? I know you have to have you have to have 18 hours of continuing education, but then we have a CD curriculum development. Is that any different, or is that the same thing?
It is, and what that could also have been a teacher, parent conference day. Or we could choose a curriculum development day, which means that we still don't have students either day. And what you'll do is you'll have, this principal will probably implement some professional development.
At the school level,
At
it's
the
not
school
county
level.
driven.
Exactly. Well, unless there's something from the state that we have to get the teachers and we have a day to do that, and there's no students coming in that day. And we actually did include the teacher prep, or the teacher parent conference on the ISE day on the 11th and also on the 21st of February. We're going to start those days at 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock. So the last part of that day, the parents will have an opportunity to come in, and because there's no students. So that's two things that will take place. And I wanted to mention that we have all of our counties in RISA 2 have developed basically the same calendar, so that because of our interaction with students across the county lines. And there might be some days different, but all the starting and ending dates of the calendar and all the breaks are the same, so that worked out very well. And I actually met with the principals and shared this with them. And then in the afternoon, I met with faculty, senate chairs, and everybody was just overwhelmed how great this was. And we did not receive one comment from anybody regarding this calendar.
I've heard good comments.
Now, I think it's, with them just giving a little extra freedom there to give you the full breaks that you need, it's much easier.
Let me just ask a couple questions. Now, there's 6 OS days at the end of the year that barring could be made up if necessary, right?
Yes.
Still before June the 8th. So that gives us potential to make up 6 days. Is that correct? The other thing is, on these CE days, do you have to have those 18 hours before January?
I know you have to have 2 before school starts, and then, and I believe it is